Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining me for this week's Thursday with AARP Wisconsin. I am Amber Miller, your host, and also with the AARP Wisconsin staff. Please note this is a live show, so if you have any questions or comments during this, we always invite them. You can post them below on Facebook or YouTube. So before we get started with our guest, I always encourage you to check out the AARP Wisconsin website for information on additional virtual offerings, advocacy, all the good stuff that AARP Wisconsin is working on. And you can check that out at aarp.org/WI. Also, please remember the Community Connections initiative through AARP. If you go to the website below, you can find information on local volunteer opportunities within your neighborhood, or you can actually create your own volunteer opportunities. So maybe if you're looking for a group of people to do neighborhood cleanup or get together and maybe do shoveling eventually when that's needed, you can find that information below, along with the AARP Friendly Voice Initiative, which is free, and you do not need to be an AARP member, and you could be any age. And what it is you could put a request in for yourself or for your loved one to receive a friendly phone call from one of our AARP trained volunteers. It could be daily, weekly, monthly, because sometimes it's just good to hear a friendly voice on the other end. So you can find more information about that at the website below, aarpcommunityconnections.org, or by calling 1-888-281-0145. And even though we are living more in a virtual world, we're always looking for great volunteers to join our AARP Wisconsin team. So if you're interested in giving back, whether you live in any part of the state of Wisconsin, you can find additional information at aarp.org/I-want volunteer. There you'll find information about the volunteer opportunities, and then also you can apply online, and one of the AARP Wisconsin staff members will give you a call. You can also find volunteer opportunities at the aarp.org Wisconsin website if you happen to be on there. So this week is National Older Adults Driver Safety Week. Even though it's only a week, we're going to celebrate it the whole month. And if anything, we're going to celebrate it all year. So today across America, 1 in 7 drivers is over the age of 65. So by 2030, the ratio will be 1 in 4. The AARP Driver Safety Program, which started in 1975, now includes resource website for consumers that could aid in community planners, local officials who are addressing the issues of older adults in driving. So this program and initiative is very near and dear to AARP. So today we're joined by Neil McCallum, who is the Volunteer State Coordinator of Driver Safety with AARP Wisconsin. Hello, Neil.
Hello, Amber.
And if you've been watching our show before, Neil has been a guest on here a few times, but we'd love to bring him back because he always has such great information. And we know that today is December 2nd. It's unseasonably warm. I'm in Milwaukee, and I think it's like 52 degrees and sunny. So I'm not even thinking about winter. I'm not even thinking about, and I said I was going to fall on the sword on something I promised you last time, but I'm not thinking about drivers, driving in the snow. I'm not thinking about my emergency kit. So this is a prime time, Neil, for you to talk a little bit more about the driver safety program and some tips and tricks that folks can use to ensure that they're driving a little safer. And even if you aren't over the age of 50 or 65, this is tips and tricks, I think, for all ages. So thank you so much for joining us, Neil.
Well, appreciate it, Amber, and happy holidays.
Thank you.
It was very interesting from the standpoint of Thanksgiving travel. Mm-hmm. It was estimated that far more than expected were out on the road. And I think people are just tired of sitting at home. And so they want to get out, see family again. And the best way to do that, probably the safest, is to drive. Part of the problem, though, is during this year and a half of shutdown, people haven't experienced driving and they've lost a bit of confidence in their abilities to drive. So it's very timely that we should have this discussion. And as you said, the weather is beautiful right now. Yet I'm hearing next week there's potential of some white stuff. So
Yes. And we know it's coming. That's
yes,
the thing. We
I mean,
know
it's Wisconsin.
it's
Yes.
Wisconsin. We know it's coming, but we have to be prepared because we want to be proactive, not reactive. So I know there's a couple slides too, Neil, that we're gonna
Exactly.
pull up to kind of help guide this. So I'll turn it over to you, but already looks like some good information.
Well, as I mentioned, with the weather, it's always a great idea to check the weather, even if you're traveling locally, but especially if you're traveling to a distant destination. It's good to check the weather where you start from and where you're going to make sure that you are prepared and for the weather that you're going to see. It may mean if a front is moving through your destination area, you might want to leave an hour early or delay a day and just enjoy the experience. Plan your route. It's always interesting from the standpoint of with our road network nowadays, there's many ways to get to your destination. Uh, a case in point, uh, when we travel east, generally speaking, we'll go down I-39 around Chicago and come into Bloomington and then Illinois and then go east on interstates. You avoid a lot of tolls, you avoid a lot of trucks, but this is just planning your route. If you, it might take you an extra hour to get there, but if you are more comfortable doing that, if you avoid situations that are dangerous, it might be the safest way to do it. As Amber mentioned earlier, it's always good to have an emergency kit in your car, a cell phone charger, small shovel, kitty litter, sand, should you get off in an icy spot, an ice scraper, a blanket, flashlight, and it's always good to have some sort of signaling device, a white flag or something that you could put in your window should you really get into trouble. Uh, check your emergency kit to make sure that all the items are there. We know that during the summer, things get moved around and you may have misplaced some items. It's also a good idea to do a vehicle check, check your battery, especially check your windshield wiper fluid or washer fluid, because when you get a lot of snow or rain, it brings up all the debris from the pavement, and you need to get that off so you can see clearly. Uh, of course, fuel level and tire pressure. Many cars nowadays have warning lights along that line, but just pay attention to your vehicle. Make sure it's in good operating condition. Uh, Another item that you want to do if you park outside is to make sure that your car windows are cleared completely of snow. And that's also any horizontal surfaces that you have, such as your hood or your rear deck. Um, I think it goes without saying from the standpoint of vision, you want to make sure all your windows are clear and free of ice and not fogged up inside. But with regard to the snow on horizontal surfaces like your hood, you want to get that cleared off as well, because as you drive at speed, the wind will come and force that up onto your window, thus blocking your vision. And you don't want that to happen while you're speeding down the highway. And then plan your time accordingly. Make sure you leave the house a little bit early or wherever you're staying so that you can clean your car completely. It's very, very important.
And Neil, before we get to our question, I'm going to confess to two things. One is, since the last time we had you on, and I promise, I was like, I'm going to get that emergency kit put together. I have yet to do that, but I am going to do it. There is no excuse, because I actually have every single item on that list in my house. I happen to have cats, so I have the kitty litter, ice scraper, I have first aid kit, I have all this. And I also was thinking, like, what a great holiday gift that would be to give to any age driver, because I guarantee if you ask your friends or family, coworkers, there's probably more than half of them that don't even know what you're talking about. So it'd be a really nice holiday gift. I also clear your car of snow completely. I am also that person that I dislike when I'm driving in front of them and then 20 pounds of snow just slides off their car. So I need to get one of those taller scrapers. I know sometimes people use a broom or what have you, but I need to definitely keep in mind that it's not all about me driving. It's about the other people on the road that I want to make sure that they're safe.
One point to make here with regard to snow on top of vehicles, be careful of semi trucks.
Yes.
They don't clear the top of the trailer. And our daughter was actually in an accident because a slab of snow came off and she spun out. When it hit the pavement, she spun out, and she was not injured, but the officer said, who was right behind her, said, I know what happened. I saw it. But be very careful. Give yourself a lot of space behind semis because they don't clear the top of their trailers.
Absolutely. And we'll take a question from Arlene. How would you use the white rag, and why should it be white?
Good question, Arlene. The idea is that you want to have something to be able to signal that you might be in trouble. And so a white rag, if you open your window and just stick it out your window, it will indicate that you need assistance, and then shut your window so it's held in place the best you can. But that just allows somebody to know that you need assistance. And this is also another reason that you should have a cell phone in your car so that you can call for assistance should you require it.
Great. Thank you so much, Arlene. It looks like we have a question from Jim. And I do think, Neil, you might have this on the next slide, but if not, can you please review for us the best driving strategy when your vehicle starts to slide on the roadway?
Well, I'll jump ahead just a little bit, Jim, as you ask that question. What you want to do is take your foot off the gas and let the natural momentum of your car slow without touching the brakes. And then once your car starts to slow, you want to steer in the direction that you want to go. And that should put you back in control of your car. One reason that you're skidding is that your tires have lost traction with the roadway. And so if by letting off the gas and not putting on the brakes, you are allowing the tires to regain traction on the roadway.
I think you saved a lot of lives, Neil, just even saying that, because I think we automatically just take the wheel and don't know what to do. So that's when you start going over the roadways. And I have been also
In the
guilty.
direction, yeah, You want to steer in the direction that you want to go.
Beautiful. And we'll bring back up that slide then, Neil. I think the next slide then, just a couple more tips and tricks that we can talk about while you're driving.
While you're driving, now that you're all prepared and you're ready to go, slow down. One thing I think a lot of people have said that people are just driving too fast nowadays. And I don't have any scientific background to back this up, but there's less people on the road. That means there's clear road ahead. So it's a natural tendency to speed up because you can. Traffic does have a calming effect. And if you are traveling down the highway and it's a congested area, you're naturally going to slow down. But if there's nobody on the highway, then the tendency is to speed up. But you really need to keep in mind that the roads are designed for the speed limits that are set. And so when that off ramp says 25 miles an hour, please don't do it at 45 because the curvature and the slope of the ramp isn't designed for a speed of 45 miles an hour. And that's where you can get a slide off situation, and it can be very dangerous. Expect the unexpected. In winter driving, there's a number of things that can come at you that you're not expecting. As I mentioned, our daughter wasn't expecting that sheet of ice coming off the semi truck. And so when it hit in front of her, it made her car go out of control. And I'm not sure there's anything she could have done about it. However, it was unexpected, and to be alert, allow yourself enough room to react. It is the law that for road clearing vehicles that are at 35 miles an hour or more, that you have to keep back 200 feet. And one of the reasons for that is many times they're uh, dispensing sand and gravel to allow you to have traction, and you don't want all that sand and gravel to hit the front of your car. And so uh, keep back from road clearing vehicles. It's very important. Wisconsin law also requires that if there is a vehicle with flashing amber lights off to the side of the road, you should move over and give a lane of space between you and that vehicle. That's not possible, you should slow down to below the speed limit and pass with caution. But I, it's courtesy for any person off to the side of the road to just move over, give them some space. They might have a situation that they have to deal with, and so give them as much space as possible. Uh, when you're driving in a snowy condition on the road, try and stay in one lane. As many of you will have experienced, when you try and change lanes, there's that hump of snow that is right there on the white line. And so it makes the transition of lanes a little bit more difficult. So just be very careful when you change lanes. And as Jim asked about skids, slow down, be cautious, and don't hit the brakes. That's the most important thing. Uh, have sunglasses. That's kind of a strange thing. Why would you do that? Well, if you have a landscape of snow and it's a bright and sunny day, sunglasses go a long way in helping you be able to see the road. And then certainly the last point is to arrive safely, allow enough time to get there safely. And if you're a little early, hey, that's okay too.
Because there's no prize for first place when it
No,
comes to driving
exactly.
um,
Exactly.
to a location. I have a question for you, Neil. With the one where, and I'm very well of the move over law, but I've also noticed when there's like stalled cars or stuff like that off to the side, I have noticed that people still kind of move over a lane. So is that a law to do that, or is that more of a courtesy if they don't have the flashing lights?
It is a courtesy.
Okay.
The law reads if there is an amber light flashing.
Okay.
However, uh, why not move over? And it is a courtesy. And I've been in situations where I've been off to the side of the road, wind that comes from passing vehicles. So the
Mhm.
further you can get away, the better off you are. I'd like to also stress at this point, when I said I've been alongside the road, if your car should break down, if you need to put the white uh, rag outside to alert somebody to your difficulty, please stay inside the vehicle. You have a 2,000 to 3,000 pound cocoon around you, and you are much safer to be within the vehicle than to be outside. And we've heard too many times where somebody is alongside the road and get hit by another car. Police officers are in peril many times as they get out to deal with a situation. It's just better to stay in the car, use your cell phone, and call for help.
And Neil, I know there is online driver safety courses. Could you talk a little bit more about that if people are interested in, where can I get additional information, or telling us more about this course that they can take?
It, Thank you. We've all been driving for 40 to 50 years, and many of us took driver's ed when we were 15, 16. Many just got their license straight away without the benefit of driver's ed. The AARP Driver Safety course is just a good classroom refresher on safe driving principles and skills. We talk about how our bodies have changed. We talk about how our vehicles have changed and how our roads have changed. And then we also discuss strategies to um, allow us to adapt to that change. And unfortunately, the virus has caused us to be virtual in so many things of our life. And we do have the virtual AARP driver safety class. We have a discount for that based on the fact that we have no classroom. But if you go to the website and put in driving skills, you will be able to get that discount, and it brings it down to basically the cost of the online or in classroom class. We hope to have a uh, in classroom presence after the first of the year. Who knows? That's the plan right now. And if that comes about, we're going to take every precaution to be safe for all involved. And we look forward to that. And you can find those classes on the AARP website as well.
Neil, it's always a joy to have you on. Not only do you give great information, but I do always feel the need to tell you the truth when I have not done something. It's sort of like my confession. But I do hope that our viewers not only take these tips and tricks and implement them in their own life, but that they'll share this video on their page, knowing that they can help a friend or a family member. And if there's additional education that one might need, I definitely think the online version is a really great opportunity for them to stay in the comfort of their home, but still get that information.
It's just a great basic refresher on safe driving skills. We've all developed habits,
Mhm.
good habits, bad habits. And so a good refresher just kind of brings it all back. And I've been doing this for about 5 years now, and I've never had anybody come to me and say, this was a total waste of time.
Mhm.
All of the comments have been, thank you, I've needed this, and the information is very valuable.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Neil. I know you're actually heading out on a long trip, so I know you'll be doing all the stuff that you just talked about, and that you'll be very safe. And Jim just said, "Thanks, Neil. That was really, great information." So,
Appreciate that. Thank
yes,
you. And thank you for having me. It's always a
yes.
pleasure and to do these presentations for you.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely have you back in the new year when we forgot how to drive again in the snow. So, thank
Okay.
you, thank you so much, Neil. We appreciate you being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And as always, if you're interested in small dollar, big impact, that application will be due December 8th, which is next week. This is the last application for this year. So if you're have a really cool, innovative, out of the box idea, if you're a nonprofit or municipality or similar, we definitely encourage you to apply for this grant. It's up to $1,000, and we will be awarding 2 of them for this month. So you can find all that information, including the application, at aarp.org/capital WI and then SDBI. We also have some upcoming events that we would like to share with you. These are all virtual events. So Movies for Grown-Ups, Far From Heaven, which is coming up this Friday. Saturday, December 4th, 10 Things to Know Before Claiming Social Security Retirement Benefits for the First Time. I will be co-facilitating that, so we'd love to have you show for that. If you're thinking about starting a business after the age of 50, our friends at Fox Valley Technical College have an online virtual course about starting a business after the age of 50, which is coming up December 7th. And then Thursday, December 9th, holiday scams to watch out for. So, of course, we know what the holiday can bring, especially when it comes to fraud and scams. So you can find all that information at the website below or call 1-877-926-8300. So for next Thursday's show, we will be joined by Lisa Lampkins with our AARP Wisconsin office. She's just going to be talking about advocacy, what's going on, a little reflection of what they worked on this year. But we always love having her on the show to talk about all the goodness that the advocacy team works on. So until then, of course, we want you to be safe. Please check out the AARP Wisconsin website. And then we look forward to seeing you next Thursday back here at noon. And until then, be safe. Thank you so much.